Hello, this is FDV's vladerag here to bring you game number 9 of our tournament qualifiers. Today we'll be seeing FDV's The as the red Terran in the top left versus FDV's Nelvahill as the purple Zerg in the bottom right. I have to say that every time I say purple Zerg I do stutter a bit simply because I'm so used to saying follower as the purple Protoss, but no, today it is Nelvahill. We are going to be playing on Korhal Sky Island LE, my favorite map of all time just because of how amazingly diverse it is and the way that everything works. I just absolutely love this map. It's just a fantastic one. Oh man, especially this area here, I just feel it forces so much more out of people. Just so interesting. I have to admit that I am doing this as a hot casting as opposed to a cold casting. For those of you who aren't aware, that is a reference to fake psychics or carnival sideshows, basically. The cold reading is where you basically are able to read what a person is about just by sort of looking at them and saying things about their life that normally you wouldn't think is possible. And cold is when you do it to a stranger. Hot is when you know something about them. And this is a hot cast because I've actually seen the game already. I was just so excited to see it. So, I love this map so much that, yeah, I spectated the match, so I know everything that's going to happen. Not really sure how that's going to make this be, or how this is going to affect my casting, but we will find out. Maybe it'll be better, maybe it'll be worse, who knows. I did want to mention, just starting off, this placement here I particularly think was genius out of because the drone is going to come in, it's going to scout all of this, and when you see double gas and no barracks with a Terran, you know you're either against a super bad player or something's going on. And this barracks it's basically hidden in your own main base. It's like hidden tech. If I was Zerg, I would be scared of some sort of proxy marauder play. I'm not sure how effective that is versus Zerg. Of course, he does go and scout it, so he knows what's up and that he is safe to expand. I would like to take a moment and say that I am aware that on the previous 3 maps I talked about how it favors Zerg, and basically I'm always talking about how Zerg seems sort of favored in a lot of situations, and people might be wondering why I'm not going to say that for Korhal Sky Island. There are 2 reasons. One, I actually have a very fantastic time. This map seems pretty darn hard for Zerg in general. Don't know why. It does seem like it would be easier since you can't forge fast expand or really easily wall this off. He is going to be working down these rocks, but it's worth noting that any sort of early pool could definitely make it in time to get through that. On the other hand, the reason here that I'm going to say, yeah, I'm a little biased against Zerg. It's sort of hard not to be when you're a Gold League Protoss and 50% of your games on the ladder are versus Zerg. It's actually over 50%. The majority of my games are versus Zerg. And I only win a third of my games versus Zerg. So, yeah, listen, after you see Swarmhost Viper executed perfectly and you just struggle futilely against it, you tend to start to hate Zerg. Anyway, enough about my, blatant anti-Zergism. But let's go back to the match and what's actually happening and going on. We're seeing a bunch of barracks out of and a factory with a tech lab. Not really all that many workers. Could do with a few more. Really could secure his expand. I would love to see that. Interesting expand placement out of Nelvahill. We are seeing it right here. Or not right here. We are seeing it right here instead of right here, which is going to throw the off a bit. He does not know about this expansion.
Upgrade.
And he doesn't see an expansion here. As Terran, you gotta be a little worried about what could be coming out of a 1-base Zerg. roach push, baneling bust, all of those things are possible, and it's especially dangerous with having this few marines. There is a scan going down somewhere on the map. Unfortunately, it's at this expand, so he still cannot say for certain that this exists. He suspects as much, but he cannot know. Got the orbitals down, couple more supply depots. Everything seems to be going according to plan. We do have some speedlings moving out. They're going to be pushed back. This is definitely more than enough with these debris here to force them back. In the meantime, Nelvahill is collecting a lot of gas and researching Gileo reconstruction. Definitely being seeing some roaches out of him. Can't wait. I do like roaches. They're sort of interesting to watch. I must admit that since it looks like the is going for a mech build, I'm not entirely certain how useful roaches are going to be. Mech is very good against armored units. Very good against roaches. In fact, I would honestly say that meching Terrans are just completely immune to roaches in general, since Thors just tear them to shreds, and tanks also tear them to shreds. So yeah, Roach Hydra, not necessarily the best choice against a meching Terran. On the other hand, unless he takes his expand soon, it may not really matter. I mean, just with enough resources, you can just bury your opponent in units, and it doesn't really matter what about composition. Your composition can be perfect, but if you can't support your army, it does not matter. We are seeing a bunch more barracks come down and a starport. Now, I'm not really a fan of this, not off one base. You really need two bases to support all of this, and even on two bases, this is a very all-in. It's basically saying I don't ever plan to take a third. I will not need to take a third. Just not important, because I'm going to kill my opponent quickly. I'm sorry, not SKD, Nelvahill, wow, getting my Zergs mixed up here. He does have his Hydralisk den down, does have roaches on the field. We are seeing the movement speed upgrade for Overlords. Not really sure if that's going to be very useful. We'll see some Overseers probably float around, do some scouting. Now, it is always a nice upgrade to have, though, because, I mean, when something happens, like, I don't know, the decides maybe he's just going to send some Vikings out to hunt down Overlords. Yeah, if all of a sudden your Overlords are caught in a bad position, you're going to wish you had that upgrade. And, you know, there's never time, and you can get really hurt. On the other hand, normally it just doesn't come into effect. We are seeing now the hill focused. Well, he already focused down the tower, and now taking away some of his own defense. Not really sure why he did that, but that's alright. Anyway, we are seeing an Overseer get a scout off, scouting absolutely everything there is to see. Will he die? Will he survive? I'm thinking, yeah, he made it out just barely. Hero Overseer, 10 HP survival. Not really sure why he didn't use a changeling. You could really just drop a changeling in this area. He would never know. I mean, heck, you could put a Nidus Worm in there. Never even see it. We are seeing some Marauders out on the field. I do like the choice. He does know that's Roach Warren down. He can expect that there won't be mutas. And frankly, you know, I'm not entirely certain how effective mutas are here. I mean, normally one would just look at this and be like, muta's just gonna tear this to shreds. But on the other hand, the defensive position, you know, the run speed, you know, the run area for where I'm going to be having my units to where they need to be is very small. One stim and they're basically here to defend. If we see Thors out, yeah, I mean, Thors aren't fast moving, and it's difficult to get them from one end to the other, but if they don't need to move far, then yeah, there's how it goes. Just a flood of roaches coming out now, though I'm not entirely certain that he has the unit count to take this on. He does not. We are seeing more reactors, more units coming out for him. Will it be enough? I don't really think so right now. This is a scary looking army. If he pushes out soon, the could be in trouble. We aren't seeing Stim yet. Would love to see that. Stim is possibly, it is the second best upgrade in the game. The first best, of course, being Warp Gate for Protoss. I mean, you can't beat Warp Gate, that's just amazing. But Stim is definitely a close second. Lots of OVs coming out, and we are seeing that Nelvahill is doubling the supply. That is not a good place to be in, but I will point out that, yeah, you see right there, he's got more workers, and frankly, Zerg almost needs to be higher in supply when you're using a Roach Hydra army, just because Terran Bio and Protoss Death Balls are very effective against Roach Hydra. Roach Hydra is almost a transitional thing. You do it to get to your main tech. Considering Nelvahill, I'm thinking we'll see Ultralisks, and considering I've seen this game, I can tell you we will see Ultralisks. But that's not really, I'm not supposed to give out hints like that, I suppose. But yeah, guess what? There will be Ultras this game. Wow, you just heard it. You now know the future. Isn't that amazing? Would love to see more workers. That is just, you just need them. You want that income. You just want the income. There's nothing more important than income. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people make the mistake in the lower leagues, and they're like, this is my units. This is, how do I use these units, or how do I get units? It's not about the units. It's about everything that leads to the units. It's how's my economy? How is my production? Because that is how you get units. In the end, that is way more important than anything else. Anyway, we are now seeing a 4th base down for Nelvahill. Not seeing any upgrades while we're seeing double armory come down, and my mouse freezes at the worst time. There we go. We are seeing double armory down for the. He does not have the worker count to support this. Normally, I would like this, honestly. I'm sort of a fan of double armory plays, especially with the new ship plating. I feel that you can do a lot more with that. Now you can be like, well, I'm gonna go Hellbat Banshee. Or, get Banshees out to harass, have them be more effective. Because armor, if you can have an upgrade advantage versus Hydralisks with armor, you can strip away a lot of their damage. It's a lot like carriers who have, the most insane DPS in the game, but if you have an armor upgrade advantage, they do nothing. It's just crazy like that. Would absolutely kill to see Stim. Just, oh my gosh, get Stim. You want to Stim. Give them the drugs. They want it. You want it. Everyone wants it except Zerg. Zerg does not want it. But that's why you want it in the first place. Anyway, just looking at all of this. Everything seems to be going according to plan. We are seeing Thors out. Not a bad choice, like I said before. They do well versus roaches. They do well versus ultralisks. They do well in general. In fact, the only thing they're really bad against is lings. Otherwise, they do fairly well against most Zerg units. On the other hand, being weak to lings is never a good thing, because Zerglings are, of course, free. Hellbats, of course, remove that weakness altogether. This positioning here, by the way, is just phenomenal for a Terran army versus Zerg, for any army versus Zerg, really. It's just the best choke point you could ask for. The best area. It's just a death kill zone. And yes, I did say death kill zone. Death, murder, kill zone, whatever. Would like to see a little more creep spread out of Nelvahill. You know, you can actually place a creep tumor on the ramp and then see up the ramp to place your next creep tumor. I really like that, just because it allows you to creep spread without having to, oh yeah, see right there. It allows you to creep spread without having to have a spotter unit, which can be really useful if you don't actually have a queen out to spread creep, or that queen has been killed. Happens a lot. You know, it's important to be spreading creep. We are now seeing a push out, nasty Roach Hydra army. I don't know though. I do not know. What are we gonna see out for the good amount of marauders there, not to mention the Hellbat and the Thor, and of course the Medivacs. But can he survive this push? If he had stim, I would definitely say yes. Without stim, well, that siege tank is going to make a difference, going to make a huge difference. In fact, he can spot the siege tank, so he really needs to take care of it now. Not going to though, going to push up this ramp right into the choke point. That splash damage is murdersome. We are seeing that Thor take the brunt of most of the attacks. Would have liked to have seen the Hellbats in the front. There goes down the siege tank. The overseers have been killed and chased away. They are just murdered. Oh my gosh, as the spotter unit dies, the next forward line runs in and dies. Medivacs just healing everything. It's all going to waste, and the upgrade advantage and the composition just phenomenal, crushing everything they had. And oh, there's a flood of roaches, but can it be enough? Seeing the upgrades come down there. If you're wondering what that is about there, it's that Nelvahill was lagging a bit. In fact, you will see later a little bit of chat between me and Nelvahill regarding his technical difficulties and the chance of whether or not he could have a rematch. Unfortunately, that was not possible. We are seeing this come down here. Honestly, I'm just get stim. If he had stim, this would be the game right here. I mean, there's nothing Nelvahill. Why I keep saying SKD? I've been casting way too many SKD Zerg matches lately. But if you had stim, Nelvahill would already have lost. On the other hand, Nelvahill has had more than enough time now. The really needs to retreat. And yep, here comes the roaches. The roach count now incredibly high. They're going to be pulling back on creep. They will be faster. Now they're all coming in together, getting in close. Nothing they can do. They're just way too outnumbered. His composition is good, but it just does not matter. Versus this many roaches, they all are going to die. And those roaches are heading back for a counter-attack. Not much here, but these Thors are tough, and they do have upgrades. These Medivacs need to come back. Yep, there we go. And are they going to boost? Yes, they are. Those Medivacs might just be, it depends on how long these roaches stay here. I do seem to remember, I guess not. But if these roaches stay here long enough, looks like they will. The Medivacs are going to make it back. That's very important. This bio is now well supported. We do see Hellbats come down. Not entirely sure if I like that choice, considering we do have roaches on the field. More roaches on the way. They're going to be spotted. Oh gosh, that is painful. They are just going to be melted away. Those Thors, the Marauders. It's just, oh, it's painful. But even though this is, what, like the second time wow, I really need to work on this. Apparently, I cannot read or tell people apart at all. Even though it is Nelvahill's second time losing his entire army, we have to remember, he is he's basically 2 bases ahead of his opponents. Really should pull these roaches back. They're just going to die horribly and do absolutely nothing. Yep, there they go, die. I'm not even sure if they did hit, but Medivacs just healed them, so basically did absolutely nothing. We have to remember, he does have the income advantage. With that advantage, I mean, he can just really throw units at until just runs out of stuff to kill them with. Basically, it doesn't matter what you do if you have infinite resources. Not that he does have infinite resources, but if you look at his bank, it might as well be. Do see a lot of missile turrets out here, unfortunately. Nelvahill doesn't actually have a spire. So those missile turrets are sort of decorative for the moment, but if there ever is a spire, that area will be well defended. Also prevents drops in Nidus plays, I suppose. Very useful there. Well, it can prevent Nidus plays. You might actually be able to put an Overlord like there. Actually, let's see here. Their range is 7, so if you an Overlord sight range, I think, is 12. I think. So you could probably have an Overlord here and spot for a Nidus Worm. And there, of course, is the Ultralisk Cavern. Ultra Ling going to be, well, mildly effective. I mean, the Lings are going to be the most effective thing here. I mean, this is a really go-to choke point. And there is, I feel there's a Hellbat there. Yep, there's our Hellbat. And that's going to be just murdering those Lings. But frankly, everything else in this army is weak to them. And that is going to be a problem. Ultralisks, of course, will be good versus the bio, but as I mentioned in previous casts, Thors are very good versus Ultralisks, and we do see Lings now moving out on the field. Like I said before, this will be dangerous, but on the other hand, they only have 1 upgrade while these guys are working on 3-3. I don't know if they'll be able to do the damage they need to really hurt these things. We probably see a Thor or 2 fall, maybe 1, maybe 2. No, it looks like they are all going to survive this completely. He could pull a couple of SCVs and repair them. Really hope he does, but we are seeing 13 Ultralisks being produced. Now this is the biggest power of Zerg, just losing their army like 9 times, doesn't matter, just throwing off Ultralisks like it's nobody's business. But again, without that upgrade, I'm just not sure if these Ultras can do it. I mean, look, we've got 2-2 on the way for vehicles, 3-3 for infantry. I mean, we're reaching a point where the upgrade advantage is just murderous. I don't know if he can handle it. I don't think he can. Especially not with more Thors coming out on the field. He could be in trouble. Do you see, is that a planetary? Yeah, a planetary is coming down here, way out of position. Guess there was a Ling there, spotting for Nelvahill. Would really prefer him to cancel this and move it into the right spot. I mean, there's like no reason to keep it there at all. It's like the worst. It's like the worst command center position ever. Ugh. I mean, look, it's bad for more than one reason, because when it's this off, you can actually like run Lings to here and be out of range of the command center. It doesn't really matter because this Roach Ultra push is just going to tear it down. We now are watching everything engage, and yet there they go. Oh my gosh, watch those Ultralisks melt. Are they even doing damage? They are, but it's not much. Even attacking, and they had a siege tank there still. It all died. I'm not really sure if he'll survive this. I doubt it. I feel like he's lost all the economy in the world. Doesn't matter. All the larvae in the world does not matter if you don't have the upgrades to survive. I mean, look at this. He's missing like 5 armor off his Ultralisks. At this rate, an Ultralisk's armor, it's only 1. Marines are actually effective against Ultralisks at this point. They have no armor with which to deflect this damage. Where on the other hand, these are fully armored, fully armed, and raring to go. Yeah, and we're even seeing landed Vikings here, and these drones just going out on the hunt. They're probably going to be able to take these down. Honestly, landed Vikings not that great, and drones acting like imitation Zerglings, which they actually do very well one-on-one. A drone, I think, beats a Zergling. It does have more health. I don't know, because Zerglings do have that higher attack. We are going to see these ultras come out. They're not going to last long. They don't have a position. I don't even think they were attacking. I think they were on the move command there. Not really surprising since they just spawned. And yeah, he is going to go straight for all of the tech, conveniently situated right here. Once that tech dies, Nelvahill will not be able to spend his money. Even right now, all he can afford to really buy is lanes. He's only got 500 gas. Not enough to do much with. I suppose he could get some roaches, but frankly, that roach warren is going to be dead in a few seconds. Oh my god, can you imagine, by the way, if Thor was a biological unit? Like, medevacs healed Thors. Oh god, that would be imba. Anyway, we've seen more units move out here. Spawning pool coming down for Nelvahill. Not sure if this is really the best location for it. I mean, you know, this isn't exactly a hidden base. I mean, can you even really hide a base at this point? What's the point of hiding a base? Anyways, any moment now we will be having that discussion between me and Nelvahill regarding technical issues. At least I think we should. I'm not sure if it will show up. It was using party chat, which hopefully will mean it will not show up in this, but I would like to take a moment to explain the reasoning. If during this match there actually are technical difficulties because of how this is set up, I'm not actually able to notice it. Basically, I can't tell if someone's lagging because they're unplugging their router, or if because it's just the internet hates them that day. Because I can't tell this, I can't tell if somebody just realized they were about to lose and yanked the cord. And so, there's no free rematch, basically. If I didn't do this, it really would encourage people to just pull the cord whenever they're about to lose. You know, it's like, oh no, a 6 pool is coming. Well, darn, if I wasn't lagging so much, I could have held that when they really would have been dead. And the next game, well, yeah, of course they're ready for the 6 pool, and that just fails. That takes all the risk and all the fun out of playing. Normally, I'd be okay with it, but we just can't set that precedent. Are seeing a very ninja expansion over here. But, I mean, really, it's sort of, what's the point? What is the point? This army is unstoppable. All the bank in the world means nothing if you can't spend it. By the way, have you ever wondered what this guy's thinking? I mean, he's always working here, like the Zerg, or like building armies and ultralisks are thundering by, and he's just like, I'm just working on a sign. Don't mind me, just working on my sign. Seeing some scans come down. He's gonna be searching, hunting for those lost bases. This is finally placed in a I think that's a correct. Is that actually a correct position? Okay, listen, I need to stop watching Bronze League Heroes. I just do. It's bad for my health. Oh. Anyway, we finally do have a third down for the worker transfer going on. What are we seeing come out? Planetary Fortress. You really don't want to get a planetary fortress ever, just because, yeah, frankly, they're not that effective at anything that'll happen this late in the game. And second off, I mean, mules are fantastic. You want mules. It does look like it did work out, and the party chat was hidden for this. Good to know. I shall remember it for the future. Very happy about that. That means that I will be able to talk in game without it showing. Very useful for discussing things with certain players at certain times. Oh goody. And there is the GGG. Triple G. Good game. And that was Game 9. Hope everyone enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Currently, I am off to create the very first episode of Learn to Play. This episode, we will be exploring the basics of Terran economics and the One Barracks Expand. This is FDV's vladerag signing off.